It is a new year, so it's time for a new makeup routine. This is how I go from this to this. The first makeup product that I use is the L'Oreal Lumi Glow Tint. This is in the shade 120 Neutral, which is pretty much my shade in a lot of things. I am pretty pale, but I just take this on a beauty blender, do like 2 pumps, and then I am going to evenly distribute that on my face. As someone that does deal with a lot of acne, and I still have a lot of acne scars from when my acne was even worse, I enjoy using a skin tint because it kind of just provides a nice even layer of light coverage. I don't really want to be wearing a full foundation every day, so this just works really well for me. I've also noticed that makeup lays better on top of makeup, so having this as a base kind of helps my bronzer lay better and my blush lay better. This next thing is the most recent addition, but one that I am now extremely passionate about, and that is using the e.l.f. Halo Glow Liquid Filter as a bronzer. So as I mentioned, I'm pretty pale, so obviously this is not my shade. This is in the shade 6, which is Tan Deep, and because it's more of a serum product, it doesn't have the coverage that a typical cream bronzer has, so it makes it look very natural, like I'm just naturally more tan. But for this, I put it under my cheekbone on both sides. I just do like 3 dots, and then I do a little bit on my forehead, and then I'm gonna just blend this in with a beauty blender as well. And when I blend out my bronzer, I like to kind of blend it in like a C shape, so I'm mostly staying under my cheekbone, but then I'm wrapping up kind of by my temple and then over my eyelid, and this blends in so easily, which I love. I also definitely have a pimple patch on right now, and I'm hoping you can't see it. Next, for blush, I have been using this Rare Beauty blush in the shade Worth, and I truly can't say enough good things about Rare Beauty. I've tried quite a few products and they've never disappointed me, so I really wish this was sponsored, but it's definitely not. But I'm just going to do like 2 dots on my cheeks, just like that. And again, blend that in with my beauty blender. And I just kind of dab a little bit of whatever is left on the sponge on my nose. I feel like a really big thing with makeup in general that I've had to learn is that it really is best to just focus on enhancing your natural features and going with what works for your skin tone and your hair color and your eye color. The more you can tailor it to you specifically, the better it's gonna look. I used to go for more tones like this, which I feel like it still looks good. This is the same blush, but in the shade Joy. And this I feel like is more of a warm tone kind of color. Someone that's more warm tone, maybe a little bit more tan, this would look amazing on them. But for me, who is more neutral, this is definitely more of a complementary shade. Now for highlight, I've been using this Rare Beauty highlight in the shade Transcend, and I'm just going to dot that on the high points of my cheeks, as well as a little bit on my nose and Cupid's bow. And again, whatever excess I kind of put on my temples, just kind of above my eyebrows. Next, I'm gonna go in with a little bit of concealer. This is the e.l.f. Liquid Camo Concealer, Hydrating Camo Concealer. I'm just going to put a little under my eyes and then on any spots that I have that I want to conceal. And I'm gonna blend that in with a sponge as well. And I'm not super worried about making sure my acne is 100% covered. Otherwise, I would probably go in with a brush and be more delicate with it. But I've dealt with so much acne in the past, and I feel like not focusing on it that much has helped me just kind of accept it. And honestly, I've kind of just stopped caring as much anyway. Now I'm going to go in with a little bit of pressed powder. This is the CoverGirl Clean Fresh powder. I'm not super picky when it comes to powder. I feel like a lot of them kind of do the same thing, but what I look for is one that is non-comedogenic. So something that doesn't have talc in it and something that doesn't have mineral oil in it. And I believe this one is acne safe. And the same thing goes for my concealer. The e.l.f. one that I just used is non-comedogenic, but I'm just going to powder under my eyes a little bit to make sure that nothing is going to crease. And it also just kind of smooths out my under eyes a little bit more. I'm also going to go in with this angled flat brush, and I'm going to powder my T-zone area a little bit. because that is where I definitely get oily. Now I'm going to go in with this e.l.f. powder bronzer. This is in the shade Forever Sunkissed. And I'm kind of just going to bronze in the same areas that I did with the cream bronzer. And for this, I kind of do like a tapping motion like that because I don't want to disrupt the products that I placed underneath. And I find that it just kind of makes it look more defined. Now I'm going to go in with a small brush just like this, and I'm going to do a little bit of nose contour. For my nose, I always go under the tip of my nose just like that, and I'm using a very light hand when I do this because otherwise it can look a little crazy. And I'm just going to faintly go on either side of my nose. And then I also like to take just a little bit and do a faint line on the upper tip of my nose. And I feel like this pattern kind of just lifts my nose up a little bit. And while I'm here with that same brush, I'm going to do a little bit of eyeshadow. I really like to use the same product for many different purposes. Now for another product from Rare Beauty. This is the powder blush in the shade Cheer, and I think this is one of the prettiest products that I own. It has a little bit of shimmer to it, so it's a little bit extra glowy as well. It is so beautiful, but I'm going to apply that with a fluffy angled brush like this. And if I ever feel like I've gone a little bit overboard, I just take the same brush that I use for powder and I just kind of go over and blend it in a little bit. Now I'm gonna go in with the Rare Beauty highlight. This is in the shade Exhilarate, and I'm already pretty glowy, so I'm only going to do this on my inner corners and probably a little bit on my nose too. But as someone that is often a little sleep deprived, this makes me look a little bit more awake, and it really brightens up my eyes. So now I'm gonna move on to my eyebrows, which I do have a little bit of a head start. Basically every 2 months or so I do an eyebrow tint, and that's kind of when I'll go in and like tweeze them and shape them a little bit. But I use the Just for Men beard tint, and I just basically outline my eyebrow, fill it in with the dye, and then take it off after like 2 minutes. But I still like to fill them in a little bit, so I'm just gonna brush them up. And this is the e.l.f. Instant Lift Brow Pencil. I just get it on Amazon. But I more or less just like to feather a little bit more of the pencil towards the front of my eyebrow. And then I kind of just define the tail of my eyebrow a little bit more too. It basically looks the same, but that's kind of the point. This kind of goes with what I was saying earlier about just going with your natural features. I naturally have fuller eyebrows, so instead of trying to make them that super thin, trendy shape, I'm just kind of rolling with it. And if anything, I make them look fluffier. For brow gel, I'm going to use this e.l.f. Clear Brow Gel. This is technically a brow and mascara, but I just use it on my eyebrows. Brush them out and up. Now I'm going to go back in with the brown brow pencil, and I'm going to do a little bit of brown eyeliner. For this, I like to look where my eyelashes start to angle outwards, and I basically just extend that natural line. And this just elongates my eyes. And then sometimes if it's a little bit thick, then I just take my nail and I just kind of run it along the line, and it just tapers it a little bit better. Now I'm going to curl my eyelashes with this Quo eyelash curler. And then for mascara, I've been using this CoverGirl Clean Topia mascara. I randomly noticed that my eyes were feeling very irritated at the end of the day, and I wanted to get a mascara that has cleaner ingredients. And I also don't do lower mascara. I feel like it just starts to look too dark for my features. Once again, brown eyebrow pencil. As I said earlier, I like to be multi-purpose. So this, I only have the mini right now, but this is literally my favorite lip product of all time. This is the Kosas lip oil in the shade Unbuttoned. It's actually kind of funny because I got this in the birthday kit, and it sat in my makeup crate for probably 6 months, and I just didn't use it because I wasn't gravitating towards it. And then one day I was like, I'm gonna try it. Let's just see how this looks. And it's literally my perfect lip shade. The full size is sold out, so I'm trying to make this mini last as long as possible. And then sometimes I will also top that off with the e.l.f. lip oil. This is in the shade Pink Quartz. I'm gonna actually just add a tiny bit more powder just because I feel like I need it today. I think where I'm at in my cycle, this is when my skin gets a little bit oilier. All right. So that is my everyday makeup. I'm really enjoying all of the products that I'm using. I feel like it just has been working very well for me. So I'm gonna have everything that I used in this video linked down below. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Here's my Instagram if you'd like to see more content from me. And until next time, I will talk to you in my next video. Bye!